Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. Now, there's been some craziness in the last few days. It's not long since Simon did the puzzle which used decimal places rounded, well, not really rounded, but irrational numbers as digits in a Sudoku. Madness. And then yesterday, not only was his puzzle involving a set of digits that included repeats that had to be determined, which is crazy, but my puzzle had repeats of digits in rows and columns. I'd really like to get back to some sort of normal Sudoku rules apply, especially as we come up to the weekend in which the first round of this year's 8-round Sudoku Grand Prix begins. I think it is Dutch authors of puzzles. That promises to be extremely good. And do check out, just Google Sudoku GP or something and you will find your way. You may need to register with the World Puzzle Federation to take part. Then you set aside an hour and a half between Friday and Monday, have a go at the puzzles and submit your solutions, and then you can test how you do against the world. Many of the world's absolute finest solvers of Sudoku will be competing. It's a guarantee. Even I will be, assuming I remember, which I normally do for these weekends. So do check that out. We do occasionally get emails asking, what should I do if I'm interested in competitive solving? And this is the first thing you should do, is take part in the Sudoku Grand Prix. Then you can demonstrate your credentials to your country. I was going to say country of choice, but your country of residence is probably the most appropriate one, and compete for them on the world stage later in the year, perhaps. Anyway, that's all for the future. But the point about that is there will be probably 13 puzzles of 6 classics and 7 fairly basic variants that might include the sort of rules we're going to be dealing with today. And the reason, therefore, that I've chosen this puzzle, well, there are a number of reasons, but we'll get to those in a moment. There is still a day and a half left to enter the All the Fun of the Fair competition. If you're on our Patreon, join us if you're not. Have a go at that competition. Four tricky puzzles and 1 simple exit to find. We've had loads and loads of correct answers. Very well done. If you've achieved that, there will be a prize for one of them drawn out of the hat after the 20th. Also, loads of other content on Patreon. Do check it all out. There's some good stuff there. And all of our apps, of course, have wonderful puzzles that would be great training for the World Puzzle Championship or the Sudoku Grand Prix or whatever. And check them out. The Sven SUDOKU PAD, our merchandise, also on the list. But we got an email in from Maggie, I think, based on the pseudonym, who says, "My name is Maggie and I'm Bremster's mum and I am 78 years young. Bremster introduced me to your channel a few years ago when he started solving puzzles and we've enjoyed it together for several years. I've found solving these puzzles has helped me keep my mind fresh. In 2023, we started creating puzzles together as a series we call Family Day Out. This puzzle's one we've had a lot of good feedback about, so I thought it'd be a good submission for you. I haven't submitted to you before, but I know you've done a few of Bremster's puzzles." We certainly have. Bremster is a long-time friend of the channel, a very good guy, and it's delightful that he has introduced his mum to variant Sudoku and that they're now doing a family day out, setting puzzles together. I could wish, it takes me back to when I would try and solve cross number puzzles while we were on holiday and my dad would help me. Good times. Anyway, Maggie's absolutely right that this puzzle's had good feedback. We have had it recommended by other people than her and her son Bremster. So I'm certainly going to have a go at this. And let's go through the rules now. So I think it's coming up to Australia Day soon. So probably very appropriate to do this. I'm certain Bremster's Australian and I expect his mum is too. Now, normal Sudoku rules apply. Hurrah! We'll be putting 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Outside, sometimes known as frame, and actually this confused a few people in one of the puzzles in All the Fun of the Fair on Patreon. The digits outside the grid. So let's look at the 1 and 2 in this column. The digits outside the grid must appear in one of the first 3 cells of the row or column as seen from that direction. So one of these 3 digits, one of these 3 cells contains a 1, one of them contains a 2. That's what that clue means. And then all we have apart from those outside the grid clues is some killer cages which can't have repeats in but do show their totals. So those digits will be 7 different digits adding up to 32. Give it a try on the link under the video. Don't know what we're going to get in terms of difficulty, but I know it'll be a good puzzle. And I am going to start now and say, let's get cracking. So we've got some interesting shapes. More than anything else here, we've got shapes. And this shape is very interesting with that total of 29. Now, the cells you need to think about in regard to this cage are not the yellow cells that I've highlighted. They are these 2 cells. And this is a really interesting principle, I think. Let's make them red. The 2 red cells see every cell in the 29 cage, and therefore they can't be in any of the cells in the 29 cage. This one sees those in the same row and all the others in the same box. That one does exactly the same. And therefore, the 2 red cells are the 2 digits from 1 to 9 that are not in the 29 cage. Now, if you know the channel, you probably know the secret, which is that every row, column and box of a Sudoku adds up to 45. Don't go mad with that secret. It's highly prized information. But that's because the digits 1 to 9 add up to 45. Now that's relevant to this cage. The digits 1 to 9 add up to 45. So the 2 digits, remember there are 7 digits in the cage, so 2 of the Sudoku digits aren't in it. The 2 digits that aren't in the cage add up to the difference between 45 and 29, which is 16. Now, only 2 different Sudoku digits can add up to 16. That's 9 and 7. And we can straight away write them into these cells. And that's a very lovely beginning. I don't know, is it a trick or is it just a really lovely feature of Sudoku geometry? Another feature of Sudoku geometry is that those 2 digits, whatever they are, where do they go in box 1? Well, they're going to have to go there, because they can't be in the same cage and they can't be in the same row, so they've got to be there. Anyway, let's use the other clues. We've got a 3-4 frame clue, outside clue in this column, and since 3 and 4 can't go in that cell, they go in these. Now, this 32 cage has a similar shape, but although we can do the same thing and say that these 2 digits add up to the difference between 45 and 32, which is 13. That is not as helpful as when the 2 digits add up to 16, because there are 3 ways of making up 13. However, none of those ways include the digits 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 in this frame clue here that go in those cells must be in that pair. That's not how to write that. There we go. Now there's also a 7 in one of these cells. So 7, 6 has been removed as a possibility in this pair. They're either 8, 5 or 9, 4. Okay, now we've got 4 and 5 are clued in this frame clue. So 4 is in one of those 2 cells. So 4 is going to have to go in one of those. 5 somewhere in the group of cells. Ah, look, yes, here's another geometry thing. So where does this blue cell go in this box, box 6? I mean, it's very simple, in fact. It can't go in the same row for Sudoku reasons. That's the rule. It can't go in the same cage for killer Sudoku reasons. Therefore, the only cell left is here. And then I'm looking at this. Actually, that applies over here as well, doesn't it? The yellow cell must be there. I'm wondering if we know anything about that, but actually I'm now interested in this group. Ah, no, of course, sorry. This is brilliant. Right. What do those cells add up to? remember, it's the same group of digits. It's this group of 6 plus blue. So it must be the same cage total, 35. So these two add up to 10. And 2 and 6 are in this group of cells. So one of them is going to get into this 10 total. At least one of them. It's not going to be both of them because they'd add up to 8. Now, which one? Do we know? The answer is yes. We know it's not the 6. Because if this 10 total in these two cells, I've just deducted 35 from 45 to get that number. If that included a 6, it would have to include a 4, but we've been told 4 is over here. So this pair of cells is a 2-8 pair. That is a 6. We know which order the 2-8 pair go in because they see this 1-2 pair. Now I can do the same trick over here. It's actually much more useful over here. I should have done this side first, but I didn't. But anyway, this group of cells, including yellow, clearly adds up to 31 because it's got to be the same cells as make up that total. So those add up to 31. Take that away from 45. These two add up to 14. They, we now know, are a 9-5 pair. If I'd done this cage, this box first, before looking at that one, it would have been even more straightforward. No, it would have worked either way round, actually. This could have been, yeah, no, it would have been more straightforward. This couldn't have been a 6-8 pair because of the 4-5 clue. You couldn't put them both there. Anyway, this is a 9-5 pair. This cell is now, not this cell is now a 4. This group of cells is 1, 3, and 7. So yellow and blue are both from 1, 3, 7. This digit can't be an 8 anymore. So this 13 pair in green has had one of its combinations removed. I've got a 9 X-wing. The 2 9s in columns 1 and 2 are clearly used up there. Ah, yeah, that's lovely. And I know that 9 has to be in one of these 3 cells. So I now know it's there into the 38 cage. I'm just looking for symmetry and I can use it. Look, these 2s tell me, and this 2 clue in the corner, tell me that's a 2. Now, okay, this 7 cell 38 cage is missing a total of 7 from the 45 that would be all of the digits. Now the digits it's missing are not 2, 5 because we know it's got a 2 in. So the digits it's missing are either 1, 6 or 3, 4. Ah, look at these clues at the bottom of the grid. 2 and 9, and they can't go in the same cages. God, it's lovely this. So we get to write those in. This 15 cage needs a pair adding up to 6 here. That's now 5, 1 because it can't include a 2. There's a 4 clue outside the grid. I've virtually used all the frame clues now. These two add up to 13, and that's not 9, 4 or 5, 8. That's a 6, 7 pair. And these other cells in the row are 3 and 8. That hasn't told me anything about what digits are missing here. Now, I've used all the frame clues in the bottom 2/3 of the grid. I have not used the 5 in the top left, which gives me that. There's a 9 in one of those 2 cells, and there's a 7. No, I was going to say those 3, but it's in one of those 2 because of that 7-9 pair. So the rest is not quite classic Sudoku. I'm going to look at the cage the box total. Yes, it's the same sort of thing, just as that group is the same as that group in the 35 cage. So this group of cells in red is clearly the same as this cage because it's got a 2 and a 9 in, just as the cage has a 2 and a 9 in. So this group of red cells adds up to 38. This pair adds up to 7. We now learn that that's a 3 and that's a 4. Get an 8 there. That's not a 3. So one of yellow or blue is a 3. Let's get rid of the red colouring. I have a feeling I should know which of those is 9 for some reason, and I don't. But not to worry. Oh, that digit has to go in one of these 2 in the cage, and it can't go there because that can't be 3 or 4 now. So it goes here. 1, 2, 6, 8 are the other digits needed. Okay. I can't, yeah, I mean, a lot of these cage totals, I haven't really used this. I suppose once I've put a 13 pair there, ooh, that can't be 4, 9 in that order now. Once I've put a 13 pair in here, oh, I'm going to do that now. Look, there's a 1, 2 pair looking at this cell. So 5 goes there. Now there is only one way for this green pair to go, and that is 4, 9. So there is no 4, 9 in this cage. Therefore, I do know where 9 goes. That digit, oh, it's going to be in one of those, and I can't write it in this time. Or I can't choose its cell. But these cells are going to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's just do Sudoku. 4 looks across at 3 there. That puts 4 in the cage, which puts 3 there. That means yellow is not 3, and in this 1, 7, 3, blue has become 3. So that is interesting. So, I mean, I think the rest of this is just classic Sudoku, actually, which is weird in a Sudoku with so many clues. 6, 8, 2, 3. There's a 1 here because of the 1 up there. 4, 3. It's so beautifully constructed, this puzzle. I mean, you can see all of these deductions just falling out as you go through it, and it's very well made. 6, 3 there, 9 there, and a 7, 8 pair. That's now a 5, 6 pair. These are 3, 7, and 8. That can't be a 3 by Sudoku, so this has become a 3, 7 pair. That's 8. We need a 4 in the top row. Seems like I can fill that in there. That 5 sorts out the 6, 5 pair. This is 1 or 2 now. And those 2 had to be the same as these 2, so I'm putting that 1 or 2 in that cell as well. 3 is resolving 7 and 3. 7 is in one of those 2, not sure how that's going to turn out. 2, 3, 9, 5, 8, 6, 7, 9. We need a 4 down here. That's got to be in the corner. 7, 4, 9. There's a 3 in one of those 2 cells by Sudoku because of that 3. And therefore, this is now a 6. 1, 2, 6, 8. 8 can be placed in box 1 there. These are from 1, 2, and 6, and definitely include a 6. 8 is in one of those 2 cells. 7's in one of those. Okay, let's look at this cage. 6, 5, 3, 7. We need an 8 in it in one of those 2. That's not quite finishing anything off. We need a 9 in one of those 2. Might as well start marking things I find in this cage. Ah, that is actually a 9, 4 pair from these 4s and 9s. 4, 9, 1, 7, 3. So the other digits in this box are from 2, 5, 6, 8. Don't know much about the order, so let's look at this column. I'm a bit surprised we haven't resolved yellow. I wonder if I've missed something to achieve that. Maybe if I just add up this. No, this is yes. No, it's that just forces this to be 5, 9. It doesn't then decide whether that's 1 or 7. Ah, but this yellow digit has to appear in those cells, and it can't be 1. It's therefore 7. There we go. And I can get rid of the colouring now. And that's a 9, and that sorts out our 9, 4 pair, which sorts out our 4, 5 pair. And now we can't have 5 in that group. We need a 3 in row 6. We need a 3 in row 8. That's probably all the 3s in the grid done, not one of them in the corner. Now, this cell I'm in can't be 6 or 7 because of that pair, so it's 1 or 2. That cell is 6 or 7, and we know which one from the row. 7-9 in the corner has been resolved. I know that does the 5-9 pair. This is 1, 2, or 6. And then these are from 1, 2, and 8. I'm sort of getting a bit hung up on remaining 1, 2, 6, 8. That's 1, 2, or 5. That's 1 or 5. Something is resolved. I hope I haven't missed any of these outside clues. I don't think I have now. These include, these include the missing 1 or 2 as well as 8, and that gives me a triple in this row. So I think that still needed to be done. We get a 5 here. Then this is, well, this is 1 or 6, but we've got a 1, 2, 8 triple, so it's 6. This is now a 1, 8 pair. The rest of this box needs 5, 6, 7. That's probably done somehow. The 1, 2, 8 pair leaves this being a 7. That fixes this 5, 6, 7 straight away. Probably fixes everything in the bottom 2 rows. It looks like it's doing almost everything there. That's a 5. We're left with a 1, 2 pair. That's all. Now I'm going to look up this column. That can't be 5 or 6. We've got a 2, 8 pair. That's a 1. That's an 8 in the cage. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We go down to the 1, 2 pair. That's a 2. That's 1. That's 8. And this is a very well crafted puzzle. We get to finish in the middle now with 5, 1, 6. And that should do it. There we go. Yeah, this puzzle has been out for 2 weeks and only 17 people have solved it at the time of going to press. But it's really clever, and that is very well done, I think. So, very enjoyable. Good stuff from Maggie and Bremster. I don't know if it was anybody's birthday. I don't think it was, but I wish you guys a very happy year of your family day out, and we hope to see more of your creations. Hope to see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.